So I have mixed feelings about this one. On the one hand, Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster is surprisingly competent for how lame sounding it is. On the other hand, it's not that impressive, and it doesn't hold up to the better movies that I've seen so far. Like, it's no Ghidorah, it's no Mothra, it's a giant crab. That's, like, the coolest part of the movie, is Godzilla fighting a giant crab. And, I mean, it's an okay fight. Like, he beats the shit out of the crab, he rips its claws off, it's pretty cool. They have a little back and forth with the... I don't know if I've actually talked about this in a video before, but a few movies back it became like a trend for Godzilla to throw a big rock, and then the monster he's fighting would like slap the rock back at him, and they would just kind of volleyball the rock back and forth. And this has happened in like each movie since King Kong vs. Godzilla. Like, Godzilla did it to Rodan, and they were just kind of punting this boulder back and forth. Like, they do it with their head, they do it with their tail, and it happened again in this movie, except it was really unnecessary in this movie, because no one actually got hurt in the end. They just whap the boulder back and forth a couple times, and then they just deflect it, and it goes flying. And it's just like, okay, what was the point of that? Like, just slapping a boulder around for like a full minute. Wasted my time. The human characters in this movie are boring and dumb again, but it wasn't like as boring this time. Like, it was like mildly entertaining. Like, I don't think I was ever really bored in this movie. It's certainly not well written or anything, but just the bog standard stuff. I gotta say, the giant crab thing, I mean, the giant crab isn't especially cool, but there was one part where it felt pretty, genuinely, like, creepy to me, which was when, these people are on this island, and a couple of the people try, like, escape the island on a boat, and the crab is stopping them from leaving the island, and the crab jumps up out of the water, picks up the boat that's clawed, crushes it, and then these two guys fall into the water, and the crab just takes its other little, like, pincer finger and just goes, and he lifts up his claw, and there's two little dead guys, like, kebabbed at the tip of his claw, and it looked really gross, and, like, it was a little disturbing, to be honest. I was pretty taken aback by it. It was really violent for how, like, it feels like these movies are getting more and more kid-friendly as they go, so I wasn't expecting something so dark to happen out of nowhere, but it was fine. I was glad that something made me feel an emotion in this movie, because this very easily could have been like the worst, most bog-standard, whatever garbage movie out of all of them, with a title like Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. Which, there's some interesting things in this movie. I think it's kind of neat how Godzilla isn't really the bad guy. I mean, there have been other movies before this one where he was technically the good guy, but in this, he really doesn't hurt any of the good guys. They even say that, like, at the end of the movie, they're like, I feel sorry for Godzilla. I mean, yeah, he never really did anything bad to us, and, yeah, I mean, there was actually a bit where Godzilla was staring one of the main characters dead in the face, and he just didn't do anything. He didn't kill her, he just kind of sat down and tried to take a nap. He was a cool guy, which, just remembered that was the most out-of-nowhere fight in the movie, in all the movies so far, which is, as he sits down to take a nap, a giant bird comes out of nowhere and starts pecking at his head, and you can't really see much of the fight. Like, it's hard to tell what's going on, because the camera's just all close on his head. He just kind of goes like, ah, and then he blasts the bird with fire and it dies. It lasts like 20 seconds, it's stupid. that giant bird is the worst kaiju of all time. It's terrible. But yeah, no, there's some cool stuff in the movie. There's a bit where these guys are trying to hide from this evil militia group that have, like, their base on the island, and they're, like, taking slaves. They're trying to kidnap the natives who worship Mothra. Oh yeah, Mothra's in the movie, by the way, and Mothra's all grown up now. Not like a giant worm anymore, now he's a full-grown moth, and he's beautiful. But yeah, Mothra's followers are being enslaved by these dickheads, and there's a couple of, like, good guys who are trying to save one of the slave girls, and they hide in a cave, and then they look over, and they're like, what? Look, and it's just fucking Godzilla, like, sleeping in the cave. So, you know, the movie before this one, Godzilla falls over a cliff, lands in the water. Where did he end up? In a cave somehow. How did he get there? Doesn't matter. He's just sleeping in the cave. How do they wake him up? They take a sword, they stick it in the top of the mountain, lightning strikes it, and the lightning wakes up Godzilla. Funny thing about this movie, the reason why Godzilla's not so pissed off and evil, and the reason why he's awakened by lightning is because this was originally going to be a King Kong movie. The reason why lightning wakes up King Kong is because King Kong vs. Godzilla was originally going to feature Frankenstein, so there's just like a chain reaction, just going down the rabbit hole of reasons why these movies have such weird, stupid bullshit in them. It's just one mind being changed after another. Weird. Very weird. No, but this movie was entertaining enough. I don't really have any, like, problems with it, other than just how not... I don't know, it's just, it could be better. It could be better. It's just okay. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. It was about as entertaining as Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, I'd say. The fights weren't quite as good as the ones in that movie. There's no Godzilla dancing or anything. Actually, you know what? There was actually a scene of Godzilla dancing in this movie, and it played some weird, like, Hawaiian-sounding, like, beachside music, and a whole bunch of jet planes flew over and tried to attack him, and he just, like, he crushes one of the jets in his hands, he whips one of them with his tail, and he generally just has, like, a goofy, good time smashing these jet planes into oblivion. That scene was pretty funny. So, yeah, this one's not necessary if you just wanted to watch the Godzilla movies that are like the goodest ones, the ones that matter. This one's easily skippable, but I wouldn't feel bad just putting it on and just having it on. Like, it's entertaining. Nothing wrong with it. I keep sniffing. I noticed that I sniffed at like the beginning of every video I've made so far. I really want to stop doing that. It's annoying as shit. I apologize. Okay. Next movie is Son of Godzilla. Oh dear God.